Chapter 6, 336 Hours. Endelgian, December 10th, 1998. Sitting in her dormitory library, Danny researches past instances of mages losing their magical power. Because of her lone advancement spell, Danny was able to borrow the power she would have amassed in 1 month. But in order to balance the spell, she is now without any magic power for 2 months. On top of that, in 1 week, the Sakari and Yana will be holding a competition. Danny knows that Jake will most certainly take the bait and go to Jockey to face Inyana on his own. She has 1 week to find a way to replenish her magical energy so that she can stop Jake from sacrificing his life in a battle that he cannot win alone. Danny can only find a handful of examples of a mage losing all of their magical power. A common tactical spell to counter mages is the silence spell, but it doesn't remove magical power. It only blocks a magician from their ability to spellcast temporarily. One of the examples she has found is due to a powerful curse cast by the witch Baba Bafana that completely stripped a master by the name of Crowdor of his connection to magic. It was not until the witch was beheaded and burned by the Knights of Solomon that Crowdor's powers began to recover. Another example she found was in the existence of a mutated variety of revenant called a Draugr. Draugr are the evolution of revenants that occur when a revenant has consumed enough life energy that they have developed nominal intelligence while also devouring multiple beings filled with magical energy. If enough magical energy is taken in with the life energy, a revenant will develop a taste for it, much like a lion or tiger becoming a man-eater after developing a taste for human flesh. A Draugr will actively seek out magicians as their prey. Draugr are rare and are only encountered in and around areas with large populations of magic users or sites of naturally occurring magical energy. Because they pose such a great threat, the Knights of Solomon patrol the perimeter of Endelgian and eradicate any revenants and Draugr they find. A dangerous creature like a Draugr will not be able to help Danny with her problem. No undead creature is going to teach a human how to absorb magical energy. Frustrated, Danny closes the book titled Recovering from Magical Illnesses by Master Ubeus Assem. That wasn't helpful, she groans. My loss of magic isn't some supernatural cold. I paid it as a cost. No luck? Alora asks, sitting down beside her friend. Danny shakes her head. No, but now I do know that a revenant can acquire a taste for magic and stop hunting anything other than mages. That's terrifying, Alora shudders. Eating life energy was scary enough. I can't imagine how strong a revenant can become after eating magic. What's the word out there? Have the elders assembled a team to enter Inyana's tournament? The consensus seems to be that they'll be staying out of it, Alora says. It doesn't look like the elders will be sending anyone. Danny is visibly upset. What about the Yazitan treasure Inyana's promoting? That didn't grab anyone's attention? Elder Guerin thinks the entire thing is a ruse, meant to ensnare Jake Stewart. He doesn't believe that Inyana even has a Yazitan artifact. Of course it's a trap, but someone has to help Jake. He's going to take the bait for sure. He'll be alone against every monster on the planet. You shouldn't feel obligated to bail your friend out every time he gets in trouble, Alora says. Maybe you shouldn't rush head first into danger all the time. Danny shrugs. Probably true, but he doesn't care. That's just the way Jake is. I'm pretty sure he'll know Inyana is setting a trap for him. He'll still go for it. Jake won't pass up the opportunity to face Inyana again in battle. Why would he be so eager to fight one of the most dangerous beings on the planet? The only reason he survived their last encounter was due to his mother's interference, from what you've told me. To him, that's all the more reason to want a proper rematch. His mother died, and Inyana got a second chance somehow. He's got to be more than a little angry about that. If the elders don't send a team, there's nothing you can really do about it. You won't be able to help him without your magic. I know, Danny whispers. That's why I'm trying so hard to find a way to get my magic back early. All magic must be balanced. If you could skirt the rules and get your magic back before the reset time, your spell would become god tier. The nature of magic itself would not allow such a powerful and broken spell to exist. Something with no upper limit of power and no cost. That would exceed Ahura in 10th level magic. None of the elders can even cast 10th level spells. I have to try. I can't just sit here knowing that invitation went out to every monster in the world, and Jake will most likely be the only human to answer the challenge. Danny replies. Not only will he have to worry about Inyana, he'll have to contend with every other creature interested in owning some Yazatan memorabilia. Have you gone to Master Deoda with your concerns? Of course I have. He still thinks that I was in the wrong to use my lone advancement magic against the doctor. He says I should have to suffer the full punishment and be powerless for 2 months. Maybe then I won't be so quick to use a spell that renders me defenseless after casting. Laura stands up. All right. So what are we looking for? Danny's eyes widen in surprise. You're going to help me? We're friends, aren't we? What kind of friend would I be if I left you in this condition without even trying to help? Danny smiles, cherishing the bond she's made in her new life. I've already looked for causes and reverses for losing magic. I think the next area to research would be looking for alternative sources of magic beyond our own personal stores. Maybe there's a way to grant new magic power to someone without any of their own. It's worth a shot, Laura says. I'll start looking. Brighton, Florida, December 12, 1998. Standing alone in the woods several hundred yards off the closest park trail, Jake stares at his hands in intense concentration. Tiny sparkles of blue light coalesce around the teen's hands, rising from his arms and legs, and flowing down from his head and core. Jake sweats heavily, the task taking a lot out of him. Finally, a pencil-sized sliver of blue energy materializes in Jake's hand before he's able to condense it into a physical shard. Damn, Jake pants, exhausted. Energy manipulation has never been easy, but this is ridiculous. Have I really been knocked down this far? It's like I'm starting to learn all over again. This is more like physical rehabilitation. Your mind remembers what you have to do, but you must retrain your body to carry out your will, Yamura says. We won't be ready to face Hui in time if I'm basically a toddler again when it comes to energy. Your energy is not gone. Remember, it is only locked away with your negative emotions. It may still be possible to draw some of that strength out a little at a time, but we must be careful. If we try to take too much, it may agitate Danny's spell and cause your negative emotions to return. Jake shakes his head. I don't want to chance it. Not even you could hold these emotions at bay. The anger and hate inside me was just too strong. If that version of me ever regains control, innocent lives will be at risk. I nearly killed Danny and her friends. It was like Rockland all over again. I could only watch helplessly as my body hurt people. I had no control over myself. The emotions ruled my body. We won't be lucky enough for Danny to be around to stop me a second time. If I were to go berserk against Hui, I might be able to kill him, but who else would be in danger? That is your decision to make, Yamura says. Though I would prefer not being locked out of the fight against Hui. I wish to kill that bastard just as much as you. I don't know, Jake whispers. I want to kill him pretty badly. Jake surrounds his body with energy, pouring out everything he has into a swirling blue vortex. Concentrating, the team pulls the energy back to him, so that instead of a wild storm, it becomes a thin, glowing outer skin. Good, Yamura says. We cannot afford to waste any energy with our reservoir limited. Jake focuses on pooling his energy together in order to release it in an offensive blast. Sparks of black energy flicker around the teen like fire. Yamura senses a strange sensation as he notices the black flames formed by his host. Jake attempts to draw the energy together, coalescing it in his hands. When the energy becomes too much to control, he releases it in a single wave of energy. Dozens of trees are uprooted before bursting into flame. You're still wasting too much energy. Watch, Yamura says, taking control. Putting his hands together, Yamura concentrates his energy into a single focal point before releasing it through an individual falling leaf, completely erasing it from existence. We have to keep going. Every minute we waste is a minute that Hui could be getting stronger than us, Jake says. It is you who should continue to train, Yamura growls. Did you not just see the energy control I have refined? Right now you rely on me for battle too much. If we want to be able to fight at our maximum, you need to clear out the lesser opponents, so that I am free to battle Hui unfettered. You want me to fight the jobbers? Jake asks, annoyed. Yamura sighs. I do not even know what that means. Jake regains control of their form. Any physical gains you make with my body are shared. Muscle mass, speed, endurance, even durability. The only things we don't share are energy and stamina. So what exactly is it that you need me to improve? Your energy manipulation, Yamura answers. I have noticed that you struggle to manifest your energy and condense it effectively. Taking a deep breath, Jake closes his eyes and begins to concentrate on drawing out his inner strength. One by one, the cells of the teenager's body fill with energy and begin to radiate outward. Jake's aura flickers erratically, and Yamura forces him to stop before pushing himself too hard. How many times must I tell you, you waste too much energy on needless things, Yamura says. All of the energy that leaks outward needs to be cycled back around and used. Trying again, Jake manages to circulate the energy around his body, instead of allowing more to escape unused. Attempting to increase his output, the teen somehow draws upon a secondary source of energy, other than his own, and begins mixing black energy into his aura. How are you doing that? Yamura asks, confused. Jake ceases his aura, relaxing with a loud sigh. He wipes the sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand. What do you mean? You drew from my Sakari energy somehow. Perhaps our time together is hybridizing our energy. I want you to try to do that again. As Jake trains to become stronger with only a few days before his fated rematch with Hui, he does not notice the approach of an unwanted visitor. The man is dressed in designer clothing, and the watch on his wrist costs more than the house that Jake grew up in Absinthe. Hard at work? The man named Alexander Jotham asks as he approaches. Jake immediately puts up his defenses, leaping away. The teen's eyes scan for hidden threats. Easy, kid. I'm not here for a fight, Jotham says. His eyes flash briefly with a red flicker of energy. The psychic ability of Chonryonko has been activated. Who are you? Jake asks. His hands are trembling. He's not sure why, but his body feels paralyzed. His mind wants him to run away, but his feet won't respond. What are you doing to me? That is not important. The message I deliver is what matters. Switch control to me now, Yamura orders. What? I sense pure malice in this being. He exudes a strange aura that I've never felt before. Jake flashes over to Yamura with a burst of black energy all around him. You are not human or Sakari. What are you? Wow, the Devil Aroba says. You have better perception than I expected. I asked you a question, Yamura growls, manifesting a black sword in his hand. So much for not coming here to fight, Orobus sighs. He throws a hand out, freezing Ymura in place, and causing his sword to instantly evaporate. Ymura struggles to move, but is unable. If I wanted, I could slit your throat right now, and you wouldn't be able to lift a finger to stop me. What is this? Ymura growls. Is this sorcery? Orobus laughs. I don't have to resort to using magic to kill a pest like you. You are like an insect to a being like me. You cannot move because the difference in strength between me and you is so great that your body cannot resist the pressure of my energy alone. If I stopped suppressing my aura, you would explode like rotten fruit. If I am no threat, why have you come here to kill me? I did not come here to kill you. You are beneath my notice. I came here because I have heard that you are a pest that interferes in matters that you have no business becoming involved with. This cannot be, Ymura thinks in frustration. He can paralyze us with just his energy. Is this guy a GX-enhanced mutant? He has a weird power like a lot of them. I do not sense a parasite. I told you, the energy I sense is strange. I've never felt anything like this before. If you did not come here to kill me, what is it that you are after? I'm sure that you received the same message from Inyana that we all did. You're out here preparing to go to Jockey to challenge her, aren't you? He also heard Inyana's message, Jake thinks. Something's happening behind the scenes and I don't like it. What about Inyana's message? What does it have to do with coming to see me like this? Ymura asks. The invitation was extended to every non-human in the world. Since I am sure you received it, I am formally rescinding your invite. Do not go to Jockey. We know all about your connection to Cedrion, and frankly, my allies and myself don't particularly like it all too much. We are going to Jockey to claim the Banu Koska, and we don't need you or that deserter interfering. You are a devil, Ymura growls. Finally, I thought maybe you would never figure it out. A devil? Jake thinks in panic. What the hell are we supposed to do? This is way out of our pay grade. A devil's on the same level as Cedrion, and that guy's eons above us. This is your one and only warning. Do not go to Jockey. If I find you there, I will not be so lenient a second time. Orobus releases Ymura and begins to walk away. Angered at being disrespected, the Sakari runs at the devil in a rage. Orobus turns, sending Ymura sprawling back with just a wave of his hand. Don't be stupid. I am giving you a rare mercy. Killing you would bring us at odds with Cedrion directly. While we're not scared, that is a conflict we would prefer to avoid. I will make you regret thinking so little of me, Ymura growls, standing back up. Black energy ripples around the Sakari's form. Orobus sighs loudly. You're too dumb or too stupid for your own good. I gave you a chance to live. Why would you throw that away? You cannot stop me from challenging Hui. I will go to Jockey and I will kill him. If I must go through you first, so be it. Ymura rushes at the devil, attacking with a flurry of fast punches. Orobus defends with one hand, unimpressed. Angered, Ymura leaps back and throws his hands together, focusing his energy into a single point in front of him. With a furious scream, the Sakari releases his energy at the devil in a powerful wave. Orobus swats the energy into the sky with ease, leaving Ymura in shock. The Sakari drops to his knees, devastated. You are not in the same league as me. How arrogant are you to think that a mere mortal like you could have stood up to a divine being such as I? Divine? Ymura growls, balling his fists. You are no more divine than a common human. The Sakari defiantly stands back up. Gee, thanks, Jake mutters. I tried to warn you, Aroba says, holding a hand out. I can't let you go to Jockey at any cost. Arobus's hand drops to the ground, severed by a diamond blade. Bottom feeder, Cedrion growls. Damn you, Arobus says, holding his bleeding stump. Damned coward! Jake Stewart is under my protection. I cannot allow you to harm him, Cedrion says, pointing his sword at the devil. What? Are you serious? Have you become his Fravaches? Your job was never a guardian. You were a soldier like me. I was never as pathetic as you. I held rank and commanded forces of my own. I bet that I would not even recognize your meaningless name if I heard you speak it. Arobus shakes with anger. Aurorial, the devil growls. I was a member of the 10th Choir under command of General Jophiel. Cedrion chuckles. Jophiel is a pushover. Even my subordinate Gadriel could kill him in a duel. I'm not here to defend the honor of one of those bastards. They were the ones that cast us down and made us into monsters. Yes, Cedrion grins. Your wings were clipped, yet I soar freely. That's only because you were too scared to stand up for anything. Right or wrong, you lacked the conviction to make a decision which side to fight for. Arobus screams, his aura flaring outwards. You cowards should have been the ones cast in Gehenna, not us. We merely followed what we believed to be just. The Creator lied to us all. That thing is not what it claims to be. I'm not here for your fanatic lecturing, Cedrion says, rotating his wrist several times. Leave or die. I really do not care which you choose. Arobus rushes forward, but Cedrion instantly appears behind him using Shunkonito. Arobus stares forward, a line snaking across his throat. Black liquid begins to leak out from the line before his head drops to the ground. You, Ymir growls. We did not need your assistance. And yet here I am anyway, Cedrion replies, sheathing his sword. That devil did not want us to get involved with Inyana's plans. Do you know why? Ymir asks, dismissing his aura. The devils hate me as much as the other Yazata. My decisions have not made me popular with any of my former brethren. Keeping you alive is one of my most disputed favorable acts since abstaining from the Second Great War. What is it that you want on Jockey that the devils do not want you to have? You will find out for yourself when you go there. And what if I decided to heed the devil's warning and refuse to go to Inyana's competition? Cedrion laughs. I know you will not pass up the opportunity to kill Hui. I will see you next on Jockey Island. The Grigori vanishes before Ymir can say anything else. We're having difficulty training out in the open. If we stay in this park, we could draw the attention of another devil, Ymir says. Yeah, that would be bad, Jake adds. But we kinda need that training. We're on a timer here. There's only so much time before we have to be on Jockey. If we aren't ready, our trip to the island will just become a suicide mission. What do you suggest? Training anyway and dealing with whatever may come? And you don't? Would never have thought you to be the one backing away from a fight. I'm not backing away from anything. I just do not think you understand the severity of dealing with the devils. Those creatures are on an entirely different level than anything we have faced before. Inyana, Hui, they pale in comparison to the full power of a devil. Yet that devil was spanked by Cedrion with little effort. Are we really at the bottom of a scale that goes to such ridiculous heights? Ymir nods. If Hui was scaled at a 6, and Inyana at a 9, Devils would at least be a 200 or more. But Cedrion would be like, what, 1,000? Perhaps even higher. This is not a war we need to enter into lightly. Until we can surpass the likes of Hui or Inyana, we should not even be looking towards challenging beings so far out of our current reach. So what do we do then? The devil said that some of his kind were entering Inyana's tournament. If that's true, does anyone really stand a chance against them? I do not know, Yamura admits. If we wish to defeat both Inyana and Hui, we need to make sure that we survive long enough to even reach Jockey. Won't Cedrion just step in if things take a bad turn? He doesn't like the idea of us dying. Where was Cedrion when we were fighting the GX mercenaries or the Doctor? I do not believe that he is all-seeing or all-knowing. It is possible that he may not be able to save us in time. Besides, do you really want to be saved by him? Of course not, but I also don't want to miss out on growing strong enough because we were afraid of the devils. Image training. That is how we will grow stronger. If we are able to simulate fighting our opponents within our mind, we will perform exceptionally better. What do you mean? Yamura causes their mindscape to become a battlefield. When did you learn to do that? When the mages were in your mind, I saw how you were able to construct dreamscapes out of your memories. We can use this to practice fighting Hui. I will play the role of Hui because I know the way he fights much better than you. Jake nods. Okay, I can work with that. Because this is all in our mind, we aren't really going to be tearing up the city or each other. Yamura quickly powers up, surrounding his body with a black aura. Almatiga Straub! He shouts, throwing a hand out. Jake shields his face with his arms and is pushed back by the force. Wrong decision, Yamura shouts, appearing above Jake. You cannot take his attacks head-on. You must react. The Sakari comes down with a hammer kick onto Jake's shoulder. The teen pivots as his shoulder is dislocated and strikes Yamura in the chest with a hard punch. The blow knocks Yamura back and he lands on his feet and skids backwards. Jake focuses his aura, manifesting an energy blade and condensing it solid. The teen leaps at Yamura, coming down with an overhead slash. The Sakari blocks with a conjured black flame sword. The two struggle briefly until Yamura is able to push Jake back. Remember that Hui is stronger and hits harder than me, Yamura says. Keep that in mind as we spar. You will have to adjust to his strength. I am unable to imitate his physical traits, only his fighting styles and mannerisms. Jake nods. We will have to rely on our speed if he is stronger. Even that will not be enough. You must work to be able to predict his movements. Yamura slashes his sword several times, sending out blades of energy. Jake dodges some of the blades, deflecting others with his sword. Almatiga Straub! Yamura shouts, throwing out his free hand again. Jake leaps high into the air, dodging the pressure attack, and flipping forward to come down with a powerful overhead slash. Almatiga Straub! Yamura again shouts, hitting Jake point blank with the attack. The teen is thrown back to the ground, as if he had just collided with a wall. Jake's concentration breaks and his energy sword dissipates. Do not forget that so long as he has the stamina, Hui can use that technique repeatedly. Jake moans, slowly crawling to his feet. I know this isn't real, but I sure feel the pain like it is. The mind is incredibly complex. Convince your body of complete fiction. I suppose feeling like it's real will help us with the training, Jake says, stretching out. If I knew I wouldn't be feeling any pain, I might not be able to fight as hard. Keep fighting, Yamura says. We have a lot to go over in a short amount of time. Silver Fox Base. Undisclosed location. Gator and his team grow impatient, waiting for any information they can act upon. It has been days since the attack on Brighton. They are no closer to the truth than when they first arrived. Where do we stand currently? Gator asks Leinster. My men are restless. We lost friends in Brighton. We need something to punish for that. The hospital is inactive, Leinster says. Operatives from the Paranormal Investigation Agency, in conjunction with several enhanced Conco survivors, were able to bring it down shortly after your team battled the Sakati. It wasn't the Sakati we couldn't handle, Gator says. Who the hell was the other guy? The one who single-handedly killed my men and brought a building down on my fucking head. From what we've been able to gather, that man was a follower of the Sakari Hui. From his appearance and power, we suspect he was a high-ranking member of Hui's cult. His power was insane. He wasn't human. We haven't been able to determine for or against that. We do know that he is no longer a threat. Shortly after your team retreated, your nephew was able to kill that man. Jake did? Really? Gator's shocked. How was he able to take down an enemy my whole team together couldn't? Your nephew's power has been growing by leaps and bounds. We're unsure why, but he and another youth engaged in a large-scale battle a few hours after the man that you fought was killed. The other youth fled after Jake was able to overpower him significantly. Sensors in the area detected a sudden surge in Yazata energy before the battle concluded. A Yazata intervened? Gator asks. He thinks of his own divine intervention experience with the Hashmalam Yazata, named Hoyles. Leinster nods. Looks to be so, but not in your nephew or humanity's favor. This Yazata seems to be in another rogue element like Benahil. Rumor on the ground is that the other youth was the vessel of the revived Sakari Hui. Hui was revived? Just like Yamura and Inyana? 3 of them in our world is not good news, Leinster whispers. We're working on countermeasures for this dire situation. 3? Gator's confused. Inyana died in Totikahachi. Follow me. I have something I need you to listen to, Leinster says. He leads Gator over to the computers where Mulder is hard at work on trying to track down the rogue Yazata that appeared in Brighton. Mulder, I need you to play the recording we intercepted. Mulder nods. This was the psychic broadcast that went out to all NHEs in the world. Not sure how she had the juice to pull off such a feat, but she totally did. Reports are coming in from all over the globe of NHEs getting ready for the tournament. Tournament? Gator whispers. Just listen to the recording, Leinster says. Then you'll understand what has us so worried. In Delgin, Grand Magical Archives, 1st floor, December 11th, 1998. Danny walks up to the librarian's desk with an armful of books. The librarian rolls her eyes with a slight bit of irritation. Have you left any books on the shelves? Or must I reshelve every title in the library once you're finished? Librarian Provost Hannah Joeri complains. Have you still not found anything that you were looking for? Danny shakes her head. Pretty much everything except for what I need. What exactly is it that you're looking for? Maybe I can help you. I'm trying to find a way to restore depleted magical energy without having to wait for it to recover naturally. Hang on. Provost Joeri places her palms on the desk, and her eyes roll back into her head as she begins to chant. Archival access magic, full scan. Using her specialized magic, the librarian is able to search the texts held in the other dormitory libraries, as well as within the Grand Archives itself. Magical tools. Magical tools? Danny whispers. The librarian blinks several times to end her spell. The magic is disorienting, and it takes several seconds to recover. You'll stand a better chance at finding information on the topic you're searching for within books about magical tools. She writes down the titles for several scrolls and texts that found relevant to her scan. Start with these. You'll find them on the 3rd floor in section 34T. Danny takes the paper with a grateful smile. Thank you very much. Good luck. I hope this will help you find some answers. Me too, Danny replies, gathering up her supplies and heading upstairs to the 3rd floor. After several more hours of research, Danny grows tired and decides to call it a day and return to her dormitory. Outside, she runs into Master Fordron. Apprentice Livingston, Fordron says in greeting. Hello, Master Fordron, Danny replies. Running some late errands? Not exactly. I was researching a lead in the Grand Archives. Researching what, might I ask? Danny hesitates but answers honestly. If any of the masters can be trusted, Fordron has earned that trust from her. How to recover my magic early. Some might say that's trying to get around natural laws. Are you among those that might say such things? Fordron begins to laugh. Not at all. I am all for pushing the boundaries. What have you found so far? Nothing helpful, but Provost Joary in the library said that I should start looking into magical tools. I spent some time looking through the books she suggested, but I've never trained with the creation or usage of tools, so they were kind of confusing. I'll have to come back in the morning and hope to do better with a fresh mind. Now that is an interesting approach. I must admit that I'm not very familiar with tools myself. If you do happen to find something that you think is useful, I suggest that you bring your findings to Master Mahi Hagano. He's in charge of designing tools for the Knights of Solomon, and provided many of the Blackwings with enchanted artifacts. If anyone can create the tool you need, it would be him. Thank you, Master, Danny says with a smile. I haven't been getting much help from anyone other than Allure. It's nice to have someone like you on my side. You are not the only current social pariah. The elders are so disappointed with my handling of the Jake Stewart mission that I've been barred from forming, leading, or even advising any operations indefinitely. I apologize if I've turned you into a bit of an outcast. Danny shrugs. I've always been on the outside. I'm used to it. You wouldn't be trying to recover your energy so that you can go off and fight in Inyana's tournament, would you? Danny shifts uncomfortably. Am I that transparent? Fordron sighs loudly. You do realize how dangerous that place will be, don't you? Of course I do. But Jake is going to compete. Always chasing after him. Are you sure that your guilt is not another feeling entirely? I'm not in love with Jake, if that's what you're implying, Danny says angrily. Helping him is just the right thing to do. Fordron holds up his hands. Okay. I will say no more about that. It would set my mind at ease, though, if you did not go there alone. Having someone experienced to assist you would greatly increase your chances of success. The elders won't appoint anyone to go to Jockey Island. If I go, it won't be in any official capacity. You'll still likely face disciplinary measures. The elders do not like mages going around on secret missions behind their backs. Am I a prisoner now? Am I not allowed to leave the city and go where I want? Do the elders have to give me permission to go to the bathroom as well? Fordron laughs. Spoken like a true Blackwing. I feel as though Master Deoda is ill-suited to meet your needs as an instructor. Your rebellious nature is much more fitting of one of my own students. Speak with the other Blackwings. I can almost guarantee you that at least one of them will want to volunteer to assist you to go to Jockey Island. You would condone that? My students are free to go where they please, Fordron smiles. I do not treat my dormitory as a prison. Danny speaks with the other Blackwings. explaining to them the situation on Jockey Island and Inyana's tournament of monsters. To her shock, Master Fordron was right. Many of them want to assist her in going to the island and taking part in the competition. With such a strong force of powerful magicians, they just might stand a chance against the monsters, Inyana and Hui. Jockey Island, December 11th, 1998. Inyana and Hui stand outside of an ancient shrine constructed by the Yazata. An enormous stone statue stands near the entrance, depicting a fearsome four-faced creature with 6 wings. The guardian is a divine being known as a seraph. The seraph are not Yazata, but a being that is higher than them by several orders of magnitude in the cosmic hierarchy. The seraphs are devoid of emotion and free will, acting only in whatever capacity they are instructed by the Creator. Most often, the seraphs are in charge of standing guard over important sites that are held in high esteem by the Creator and the Yazata. They are more powerful than the cherubim, and even fewer in number. It is believed that 4 seraphs stand guard outside of the throne room of the Creator, while another 2 stand at each entrance to the underworld. 2 more guard the hidden Garden of Eden, where the sacred Tree of Knowledge and the Tree of Life are kept. "Why can you not just enter the shrine yourself?" Hui asks. "Why must we go through all of the trouble bringing others to the island?" "There is a powerful barrier around the shrine that prevents the entrance of those not strong enough to be deemed worthy," Kazura says. "The Banokazka is one of the most destructive weapons ever created by the Yazata. If one is unable to wield the blade, they are not allowed to even attempt claiming it." Hui eyes the strange partner of Inyana carefully. "Why should I take anything you say as truth? I do not even know who you are." "He is our ally. That is as much as you need to know," Inyana says. Kazura holds up a hand. "It's okay. I do not intend to keep him completely in the dark. The Grand General is our ally, after all. I am someone with similar goals as yourself. Humanity has received a 10,000-year reprieve from destruction, but all of that will soon end. With the Banokazka, I will reopen the pathway to Averno and begin our conquest anew." "Our?" Hui questions, confused. "You are Sakari?" "I am but a shadow of my former self. Human form acting as a husk." "He is an incarnation of the criminal in Nazria," Inyana clarifies. "He survived Captain Rivius's failed assault on the humans." "Somewhat accurate," Kazura says. "My soul was fractured, cursed to never again be complete." "In Nazria?" Hui asks with a laugh. "You have allied us with a wretched thief and a coward." "Unlike us, Nazria has not remained blind to the continuation of time. While we were trapped by the human mages, Nazria's soul fragments live and die in human form, reincarnating endlessly," Inyana explains. "I have learned much from my many millennia of incarnation cycles. A variation of the seal technique exists that is key to my plan to reopen the doorway to Averno," Kazura says. "The power of anyone felled on this island will be granted to their killer. If enough energy is amassed, you will be able to enter the shrine," Inyana says. "Why me?" Hui asks. "You are naturally stronger. Why would you not benefit from the seal ability as well?" "The shrine cannot be breached by any being other than a human. The Yazata were so fearful of the Banokazka's power that only a human that is deemed worthy of laying claim to the weapon may even attempt to enter its resting place," Inyana says. "After being resurrected, I am no longer within a human body. Word has quickly spread of our competition, drawing interest from all across the world," Kazura says. "And they will be the fodder used to charge your power until you are deemed worthy of being able to wield the Banokazka and enter the shrine," Inyana says. The rumor of a Yazatan weapon being awarded to the victor has allowed word of our tournament to reach every crack and crevice. We will draw an enormous amount of power to the island as sacrifice. It will also lure Yamura to us, Kazura says. I believe that the two of you have some unfinished business. Hui's memory drifts to the beatdown he received just after being placed in his vessel. Leave him to me. I will kill Yamura the next time we meet. Just remember, I told you that the two of you are not to face each other until you are the final two competitors. Only then will one of you be guaranteed the strength to enter the shrine, Inyana says. Hui grinds his teeth together in anger. You do not trust me to defeat him. I must always have backup plans in place, Inyana says. It is the wise strategic play. Well, you can get the idea of Yamura winning out of your head. I will kill him and repay all of the indignities he has caused us. Kazura shrugs. Do not get my intentions mistaken, Grand General. I have no loyalty to the humans, and will not be supporting young Jake Stewart over you. Nor will I be throwing my lot in with you over Yamura. I have organized this situation to play out in a way that benefits me no matter which of the two of you is successful. Both of you have human vessels that have been vetted to contain Yazatan energy in their ancestry. Whichever of you is victorious shall be the one who claims the Banakoska. By all means, give this competition your all. Hui balls his fists in anger. I still do not trust you. Kazura chuckles. I wouldn't if I were you either. That is the most clever thing that I've ever heard you say, Grand General. Delgin, Magical Tool Shop of Master Mahi Hagano. December 11th, 1998. Danny enters the tool shop, carrying a book titled Conversion of Monsters into Useful Tools, 5th edition. Greetings, Master Mahi Hagano says as Danny enters. How may I help you? I was referred to you by Master Forgeron. Danny sets the book on the counter. I am in need of a tool that can generate magical power for someone, with none of their own. Hagano frowns, thinking deeply about the proposal. A tool for someone with no magic? You really came in here swinging. I sacrificed my magical power, and now I desperately need it back. Do you have any ideas? Is this even possible? I don't see why it wouldn't be. Magical energy can't just be generated out of nothing, though. In order for you to gain magic, it would have to be taken from another source. You mean steal it from other mages? I don't want to do that. That's not the only source of magic. There's magic all around us. All you need to do is draw it into yourself. And how would I do that? With my help, of course. Hagano begins searching the shelves of his back room. A while back, I created a suit of armor for a young apprentice who was aspiring to become a provost. That armor was designed to absorb and convert energy spells into magical power for himself. Danny smiles. His name is Maxwell. I've seen the armor in action firsthand. I didn't know you were responsible for creating it. Now I'm even more confident that I came to the right place for my problem. Don't get too excited, Hagano warns. I used the last of the rare components needed to complete that armor on his very order. I no longer have what is needed to replicate a tool of that sort. What is it that you need? I can get it for you. That's doubtful. The thing I need is very dangerous and rare. Just tell me what it is. Danny has come too far to give up so easily. I would require the corpse of a Draugr to forge anything similar in function to that armor. A Draugr? I just read about those. Aren't they a form of Revenant? Only if you consider a saber-toothed tiger to be a form of a house cat. A Draugr is many times more powerful and intelligent than a revenant. Draugr go after magical energy rather than life energy, choosing their prey rather than devouring anything alive in their proximity. A Draugr will pass over an easier meal in order to hunt a more formidable magical prey. So what? Danny shrugs. I've fought worse. Just tell me where I can find one of these Draugr. Hagano feels as though he should not tell this girl anything further. Setting out to find a Draugr is a task for one of the Knights of Solomon, not an apprentice. The Draugr can only be found naturally in the Yetzirah wastelands, beyond our city. The Knights of Solomon once had safely cleared out nearly 50 kilometers of the wastes in a circle around Indelgian. Years ago, very powerful Draugr appeared, and the Knights had to fall back to only about 5 kilometers out. They set up walls and security outposts, but the threat of the Revenants and Draugr pushing closer is always real. I do not recommend you undertaking such a dangerous task. I don't think I have any other choice, Danny says. I can't wait. I need the magical tool you'll create for me with that Draugr. There are lives at stake if I don't get my magic back. Hagano sighs, realizing he cannot deter this stubborn girl. If you are venturing out into the wastes, you will need something to draw the Draugr to you. What do you mean? Revenants will come to you ceaselessly because of your life energy. But without any magic, the Draugr will not see you as prey and ignore you. Well, do you have anything that can help me lure out a Draugr? Hagano looks around his shop, finally returning with an ugly wooden doll. This doll is infused with magical energy. The Knights use these dolls as decoys when attempting to track down enemies that can sense magical energy. Danny takes the decoy doll with appreciation. I'll be back soon with a Draugr. Hang on. Don't leave yet, Hagano says. He sets an old-looking case on the counter. He blows the dust off the case and opens it to reveal an enchanted sword. What's this? Danny asks. I can't very well have you going out to face undead monsters unarmed and with no magic. This sword should at least help you fend off anything that tries to devour you. Thank you, Danny says. You don't know how much your help means to me. I don't want your death on my conscience. At least by giving you a working weapon, you'll have a chance. Hagano picks up the sword and reactivates the glyphs, causing them to glow a bright green. Any lower undead will be destroyed by a single cut. You're really going to have to work if you want to go up against something as strong as a Draugr, though. I'll manage, Danny says. I can't fail. I have to get my magic back or my friend is going to be killed. Take some spell orbs with you as well, Hagano says. You can pay me back when you get your magic back. Danny nods. Deal. Don't be so quick to agree, Master Hagano smiles. I'm going to work your ass off for this stuff. I'm not giving you a discount. That's fine. It'll be worth the price just to get my magic back. Danny grabs a satchel and browses the tool shop for spell orbs. Master Hagano has prepared many spells of different types, and Danny is thankful for his skill. She selects 2 Lumos orbs to create artificial light, several combustion orbs, fire orbs, and 2 teleportation orbs. Beyond checkpoint 4, there will be no light, so make sure you use those Lumos spells correctly. If you burn through the light spells too quickly, you'll be trapped in complete darkness, Hagano says. Danny nods. No need to worry about me. I'll be back with that Draugr before you know it. And how do you plan on that? Danny is speechless. She hadn't thought about that. Hagano chuckles. I figured as much. You're too impulsive. You would have went out there half-cocked, and had no way to even bring the Draugr back to me. He tosses Danny a scroll. When you've weakened the Draugr enough, you'll be able to bind it to the scroll by placing it against its body. The command word is already active, so you don't need any magic of your own to use it. Danny catches the scroll in her hand and tucks it into her satchel. Good luck, kid, Hagano says. You had better not die. If they find my tools on your corpse, I'll get blamed for you going out there alone. That won't be an issue, Danny says confidently. I've faced a saint and survived. A revenant won't be the thing to do me in. You can't go underestimating a Draugr, Hagano cautions. Fighting a Draugr won't be anything like fighting a revenant. You're going to have to be smart, strategize. A Draugr isn't some mindless monster. Unlike the revenants, they are able to think before they act. Don't go in too cocky and careless, or you're going to end up eaten. All right, Danny takes a deep breath, taking his words to heart. I'll be careful. Exiting the tool shop, Danny heads to the city gates. Multiple Knights of Solomon guard the main entrance and exit linking Indulgian in the Yetzira wastes. Can we assist you, apprentice? One of the knights asks. I'd like to go outside for a bit, Danny says. Sorry, not without a master accompanying you. The wastes are far too dangerous for an apprentice to go off alone. Damn it, Danny thinks in frustration. I really am starting to feel like a prisoner here. Unable to convince the guards to let her through, Danny begins to search for an alternate way to reach the wastelands. Knowing that Scrimmeyer managed to escape the city once, she decides that now is the best time to make good on her promise to Master Forgeron to go speak with the rogue magician. Danny reaches the detention towers, but is stopped by another guard. The detention towers, located in the barracks of the Knights of Solomon, are constructed to contain dangerous magic-using prisoners. The towers are constructed of metal and enchanted with anti-magic wards. No magic can be used within the detention towers, preventing incarcerated magicians from any chance to escape. Adrian Scrimmeyer is not permitted any visitors, the guard says. I was asked to speak to Scrimmeyer by Master Forgeron, Danny says. We were not informed of any such arrangements. You'll have to leave now and come back with proper authorization. Are you kidding me? Danny says in frustration. You knights are blocking me at every turn. Danny leaves the grounds of the Knights of Solomon out of ideas, with the glimmer of hope of her regaining her magic out of reach. The teen is now stressed out and anxious more than ever before. If she has to wait for her magic to return naturally, Jake will be killed on Jockey Island. No mages have volunteered for Inyana's competition. Allies. Jake will not only be up against Inyana and Hui, but possibly every single monster in the world. Danny, right? A voice asks from behind, snapping the teen from her thoughts. Danny turns around to see Maxwell Sayota standing before her. I thought that was you. Were you trying to find Vadis also? What? Danny whispers. Oh, no. I was trying to speak with someone else. I'm trying to have a magical tool made. If you need a magical tool, you should speak with Master Mahi Hagano. Danny utters a sad laugh. Yeah, that's who I went to. Master Forgeron highly recommended him. Master Hagano is great. He made me my magical siphon armor. That guy has incredible skill. What is it that you're trying to make? Honestly, I needed something similar to your armor. Because of my lone advancement magic, I'm stuck without any magical energy until the cost of my spell is met. I was hoping something like your armor could be made to convert other forms of energy into magic for me, or at the very least convert enemy spells into magic power I could use. Wow, Maxwell says, surprised. After you beat me in the exam and humiliated me, I never thought that you'd be in such a pathetic situation. To think, my siphon armor wasn't good enough to overcome your lone advancement spell. Yet here you are looking to the person you ruined for inspiration. It wasn't like that, Danny says, put on defense. I didn't choose to go up against someone more experienced in the exam. What was I supposed to do? Would you have lost on purpose if you were me? Or would you have pushed yourself to try everything within your power to win? If I lost, I would be kicked out of the city before I even got a chance at seeing what was possible for me. Why come to the Knights if Master Hagano is making you a tool? Maxwell asks, ignoring Danny's words. He has no way to refute anything she has said. The magical armor that Master Hagano made for you used up the last of a material crucial for making what I need. In order to create this tool for me, Master Hagano requires the body of a Draugr. If I want him to help me, I have to go outside the city and into the wastes to hunt and kill a Draugr. That's insane, Maxwell whispers. You can't be serious. Going out into the wastes is suicide. I am serious. I'm going to find a Draugr and bring it back to Master Hagano. I can't back down from this. The stakes are too high for me to just give up. Maxwell is impressed by Danny's determination. I think I know a way to help you. Really? That would be great, Danny says, smiling. I'm honestly at a loss. My options are super limited without any magic. What do you suggest? Only the Knights of Solomon are permitted outside the city and out into the wastes, right? He asks. Danny nods. So, who do you know that is a knight? Vatus wouldn't break the rules to allow me out of the city, Danny says. Especially in my current condition. Maxwell grins. Who says that it has to be Vatus himself? Danny gives a puzzled look. I'm not following. You don't actually need Vatus's clearance. You just need to convince the guards that you have it. Have someone cast a glamour spell on you to trick the guards into thinking you are Vatus. Go outside the city, enter the waste, then boom, lower to the skies, and do what you gotta do. Danny thinks about the plan for a few seconds. It's underhanded, sneaky, completely immoral. But it could work. Maxwell nods. I suggest you find someone who's really skilled with glamour magic. One detail wrong and those guards will not only see through the disguise, they'll lock you up in the detention towers. Danny hates the thought of being locked away, but what is her alternative? At this point, she doesn't see any other options before her. Thank you so much. You've been a huge help. Good luck, Maxwell says. Hope you find what you need. Undisclosed location. Silver Fox Western Command Center. Gator returns to his team in the ready room, relaying to them what he heard on the recording. No one is happy to hear Inyana's announcement. Are you fucking kidding me? Royce says. A fucking monster open invitational? Gator nods. The worst of the worst are going to be gathering on Jockey Island. We're talking devils, Therians, Lemurs, demons, everything in between. What's the game plan, boss? Kente asks. We don't know if there's any forces for good are going to be entering the tournament. We got to assume the worst, that there'll be no positive representation for humanity, Gator says. So us entering is pointless, Royce says. Gator nods. We could eliminate any of these monsters as a team, but in a tournament setting, I'm not even sure I could win against any of the monsters that exist out there. Are you saying we do nothing? Pierce asks. That doesn't seem like you. I'm saying that we have to play this smart. We lost good men on our last mission because we didn't know our enemy. We went to Brighton thinking we were going to be facing GX-enhanced operatives, and Sakati ended up smack in the middle of a Sakari revival. From now on, we don't act unless we have all the information. That loss is on my head. Hale and Bradshaw are dead because of my poor leadership. I'm not going to put you guys in that kind of danger again without knowing what we are up against. Royce puts his hand on Gator's shoulder. Look, I know I give you a lot of shit, But you aren't to blame. We all knew this gig was going to be dangerous when we signed up. This isn't like the military. Any of us are free to walk away. We're here because we believe in you and the mission. Thanks, man, Gator says, truly appreciative. That means a lot. If we're just letting the chips fall where they may, are we going to do anything about whatever monster that wins? Kente asks. Gator smiles. Of course. Once the tournament is over and a victor is declared, the champion is in our element. We can fight as a team again, skirting whatever rules Inyana may have put in place. What do we do in the meantime? Welker asks. Mulder is working on trying to track down another rogue Yazata. We've already killed one. I think we're best suited for that duty, Gator says. Team Angel Slayer, Kente says with excitement, giving Welker a high five. Don't get too excited, Gator cautions. I'm sure we already have a reputation. It can't be too often that humans manage to kill one of the Yazata. We don't have the luxury of having our opponents underestimate us anymore. We're going to have to make up for that in a better thought-out strategy. Teleportation was annoying and problematic, but I think the sonic jammer the R&D team developed worked pretty well. Till it got smashed, Welker says. Gator nods. We should think about carrying one in each of our packs. I suggest also arming up with several of those diamond dust grenades as well. Anything we can use to put our opponent out of sorts. Yeah? And you've got that shiny angel sword now, Welker laughs. Bet you're itching to try that out for real. Gator tries not to make it too obvious that Welker has him figured out completely. He finds himself staring at Cascavel many times throughout the day, wishing that Mulder would finish his analysis so he can begin training with it. We need to rebuild our team first, Pierce says. I know none of us want to face this reality, but we aren't at full strength. We need to find some replacements for Hale and Bradshaw. Gator nods. Agreed. Go through each of your contact circles and bring me any candidates you think would not only be a good fit for our line of work, but also for our team specifically. We'll vet the final list together once we have a decent list of choices. Are we looking to replace Hale and Bradshaw's positions specifically? Royce asks. A member of this team cannot be replaced, Gator says. We will judge all the candidates fairly based on their own skill sets, not comparing them to the men we've lost. The team nods, dispersing to begin work. When we're back to full strength, it'll be time for us to go up against another Yazata, Gator thinks, worried about his team. I hope we have the edge now after killing Benahil to be able to repeat. I'm so sick and tired of sending men younger than me back home in caskets.